IVM.
$100. That's all it takes to begin your journey with Bitcoin and Ethereum. No, really. With CoinSwitch, you can start investing in over 100 cryptocurrencies with just 100 rupees. On top of that, there are zero charges for deposits and withdrawals, so you can trade, buy, sell, however and whenever you want. All of this, plus their extremely intuitive interface, makes CoinSwitch the perfect app for beginners in the crypto space. But don't take my word for it. Just download CoinSwitch for free and try it out for yourself. If you'd like more information on cryptocurrencies, tune into A Show About Crypto with me, Rohan Joshi, my new adventure on IVM Podcasts. CoinSwitch, kuch to badlega.
Here's your smart fact of the day. So what's the difference between a visiting faculty, an adjunct faculty, and a full-time faculty? Well, a full-time faculty is full-time faculty, gets a regular salary for a regular job that includes teaching, research, and administration in campus. An adjunct faculty is interesting. An adjunct faculty has a contract that's, limited in its responsibilities and duties for a certain number of days per month. So it's like a consultant, contractual consultant. And a visiting faculty is somebody who just comes and teaches either part of a subject or a complete subject and goes away. A visiting faculty typically is an industry professional. And welcome to Smarter with Sid. This episode of mine is going to look at how do you become a great visiting faculty and what is the way ahead. Let's go. But before I begin advising people on how do you become a wonderful visiting faculty, let me give you a little bit of my background. I started my teaching career as a visiting faculty. So I started visiting, and teaching a variety of subjects in Pune-based institutes. Then I went to Mumbai, I went to Ahmedabad. Then slowly I developed an interest in academia, became adjunct. Then I was associate dean for a while, which was a full-time position. Then I'm now back to being adjunct and visiting. So having been there, done that, I think that I may have something to give to any person who's wanting to be a visiting faculty at a great place, like Micah, SPJN, Flame, all of those wonderful places that I teach. To be honest, whenever a person comes to me and says, hey, Sid, I want to be a teacher too, and I want to teach a subject. So how can I get into XYZ place and explore my chances over there? I take a step back. And I'm wondering how best to explain something to the person who's reached out to me. So if you've reached out to me, listen to this. You might hear this again if you call me over the phone. But for most people who are interested in being a visiting faculty, congratulations. That is a wonderful, wonderful way in which you can do a few things. One is to actually consolidate the knowledge that you've got and share it with students, which is fantastic. If you're from the industry that is, much in demand, then you will be in demand as a visiting faculty. So you will kind of be connected to a lot of feel good, about yourself and your career, which doesn't hurt. The second thing is you will earn a little bit of side income, so which is also good. So you can take a couple of, of your family members on a holiday or something with the kind of money that you might earn as a visiting faculty. And as a visiting faculty, you also learn a lot back from students because they are some of the sharpest minds out there, and you learn how the younger generation is and stuff like that. So I find a lot of people who have already understood the benefits of kind of teaching. And they also want to put it on their LinkedIn resume because it's, a feather in your cap. So all of it is good. And to be a visiting faculty is certainly something that you could aspire for, especially if you think that you've got a lot to contribute and you have the ability to communicate well to students, right? All said and done, there is, a way in which you go about something like this rather than just enter it blindly. And here is my sincerest piece of advice for anybody wanting to be a visiting faculty. Now, the typical conversation goes like this. Have you taught before? I ask. The person from the industry says, yes, I have given a guest lecture at this place. And I say back, that is not being a visiting faculty because you may have enough content for a guest lecture or being a panel member, especially online in today's post-pandemic world. But do you have enough material for it to sustain itself over a period of, let's say, 10 lectures or 20 lectures or 30 lectures or 40 lectures? Do you have the ability to, you know, teach 2 batches or 3 batches, which an institution might have, who will require the same inputs from a professor? Because trust me, having content for one guest lecture is good, but having content for 10 requires you to have a certain different sort of understanding of what this teaching assignment is. And to add to it, you might need to repeat yourself for more than one batch. And more than that, you might also understand that you have to do a lot of paper correction or PowerPoint group presentation corrections in a very sincere way, because students are judging you as much as you're judging them when it comes to actually being evaluated for their presentations. So it is quite an ask. And I would certainly tell you that if you're signing up for, let's say, a 10-hour 10 lecture series, let's say on XYZ subject, let's call it digital marketing, for instance, that means that you are prepared to put in 3 to 4 times the amount of effort in the overall exercise. Now, if this scares you off, don't be a visiting faculty, because you will not only do injustice to yourself, you will do injustice to a lot of students, and you will not create a very good reputation for yourself. So that's advice number one. It is probably 3 to 4 times the effort, and it requires a different set of skills than what you may have by just delivering a guest lecture. All right. So far, so good. If you're still, persistent, and if you still want to go ahead and do it, then comes step number 2. Step number 2 is, first of all, ask yourself realistically, because a lot of my ex-students ask me, hey, I want to teach. And sometimes you are a born teacher and you are able to teach with very few years of experience. I mean, I started teaching with perhaps 3 to 4 years of experience, in which case I was really lucky, because there was a dearth of faculty that, required to teach a certain kind of subject, which I could. And also I probably wanted to teach, and I did well in it. But normally you need to have about 5 to 7 years of experience as a visiting faculty, because then you have some meaningful experience as an industry professional. Because think about it like this: you're not an academic, so you're not coming at it from a theoretical perspective, you're coming at it from an industry perspective. The reason why an institute is engaging with you, besides you helping them out in placements and all of that, the reason why an institute is engaging with you is because the institute believes that you're going to give the students industry exposure, and students also believe that. So you need to have a little amount of industry exposure. The second thing is, ask yourself, are you really going to say something in your lecture series that other people haven't before? Do you have a unique point of view? Do you have a perspective on the subject that you're trying to teach which can be truly your own? Because these are important questions, because these questions will allow you to understand, is this really worth it? Because what's the point of just teaching something that somebody else is teaching? You wouldn't want that. Why not do something else? Because you already have a day job. You are an industry professional. What's the point of just going out to an institute and saying the same thing which anybody else can say? What is your unique perspective and point of view? That's the second thing. The third thing I encourage people is that whenever they say, yes, I still want to teach, I say, okay, go back to the drawing board and write out your curriculum. Right? So write out the 10 sessions. What will happen in these 10 sessions? Not just broad titles, but actually split it into 15-minute periods as to what you will cover. Because the moment you start putting down your worldview, your perspective into these 15-minute sessions, let's say you have an hour session, that means 4 15-minute sessions. What will you say for each 15-minute? How will you actually design the whole class? How will you get interactive with students? What will you do differently? Suddenly, stuff becomes real. Not just does it become real, but you also understand, okay, do you have enough content? Do you have enough material? Do you have enough ability to interact with students? And suddenly you realize, oh God, I need to work on this. I have a gap over here. And you start learning yourself. And this becomes an iterative process. And by the time that you're actually ready with your own point of view and your own curriculum and your own ability to deliver that curriculum, well, you are at least 70% ahead of all the rest of them who just go to any institute and say, yes, I'll be a visiting faculty and then come a cropper. Because I've heard so many negative stories about students saying, boss, this guy may know a lot of stuff, but he doesn't know how to teach and he doesn't know how to present. And maybe he has a very mediocre perspective and a point of view. And we don't want that, do we? We want to be excellent visiting faculties. So I hope I have not scared you, but if you're really interested, I would suggest that you go through this process that I've outlined for you. And I hope that this has made you 1% smarter, at least about being a visiting faculty to a wonderful institute, that will welcome you with open arms if, you come across like this. And this 1% smarter, well, you can follow the traveling professor, who's always trying to be 1% smarter and is on LinkedIn and Instagram. And if you like shows like this, well, guys, just go down to the IVM podcasts thing, wherever you listen to your podcast from, and just listen to some of the stuff. It's really wonderful, I tell you. Until next week.
Hey, everybody, it's been a great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Advertising is Dead, Varun talks to Paul Ravindranath Ji, Program Manager, Developer Relations, and Head of Google Accelerator for India. They discuss the startup ecosystem and how Google is enabling innovation through this program. On Shunya One, Sheila Datti and myself talk to Abel Joseph, founder and CEO of Aisle. We discuss how Aisle is a truly Indian dating app. It's not so much as a dating app as a matching app. It's a really interesting conversation. You should definitely check that out. On Postcards from Nowhere, Utsav uncovers the hidden injustice in India's languages and how it shapes the way we travel and interact with people. On the Life Manifesto, Zarina debunks leadership myths that are popular amongst people. And on Khel Niti, Rajiv Mishra, Nikhil Chopra, and Ayaz Memon discuss Australia winning the T20 World Cup. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, do check out our various YouTube channels. You can catch them on IVM Podcast/YouTube. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week: Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quota, CoinSwitch, Kuber, Play Coffee, Intel, and Oxfam India. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Eventually, you'll see the end of your childhood,
get accustomed to womanhood,
enjoy the experience of sisterhood,
might get to wifehood,
or not, choose motherhood,
or not. You'll learn to define your personhood,
earn a livelihood,
change the neighborhood,
and get rid of the falsehood that life post-academia is easy.
So join me, Natasha,
and me, Ayushi,
on a journey from station starting point
to station, what now?
Next station, Pudin Station, and hopefully, Agla Station, adulthood.
Fresh episodes out every Thursday.